I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I was able to manifest my dream job and what I did and the steps I did in order to get there. They're kind of all over the place because I started off in a weird space where I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I always knew that I wanted to do something within the film industry and within a space that allows me to do the same things that I'm currently doing now to prosper into my own entrepreneurship. But sometimes it doesn't always work out the way that you expect it. I knew that eventually going down the line that maybe I can do this full time. But right now I knew that to be stable and to be smart about the things that I'm trying to fulfill in my future, I need to have a full-time job. And that's what I was able to grasp. And I won't exactly say where I'm working at because if people know, they know. It is on several different places, including LinkedIn and other places alike to know exactly where I'm working at. But just know that it is specifically in the entertainment and film industry. And I'm very excited about the things that I'm going to be doing at this said place. It still pertains into a lot of social media, making TikToks, making YouTube videos, content creating, ideation, and so many other things that I'm very good at, that I've worked at previous places at. But it's kind of something that I always told myself I knew that I could do. And I just want to talk a little bit about how I was able to do that, because I was at a space and time when things weren't going my way. I was in a terrible job market that I've talked about before on this channel. And a lot of the things that I was doing was helping towards me landing my dream job. But at the same time, stuff was still hitting the fan and it was getting very frustrating. But I told myself that eventually I was going to be able to do exactly what I wanted to do. So the first thing that I told myself that I was going to do was network. And I think that's really important when you're looking for something that you really want to do that pertains to being around a lot of people, is being able to talk to other people. I never had a problem with kind of introducing myself, talking to other people, going to events and going up to people, shaking their hands and telling them exactly what I have to offer. Because if not, I've always been taught that closed mouths don't get fed. And so I knew that I couldn't do all of this on my own. I knew that I was going to have to meet people. I knew that I was going to have to be in proximity to people that really were in the same things that I wanted to do, and be in proximity of people that if I network with them, I knew they were doing better things that I could. And I always tried my best to kind of showcase myself in my most authentic way, because you don't have to just, network in person. You can network on places like LinkedIn, places like Facebook, where they have Facebook groups of people that are looking for jobs. But there's also these groups where there are people that are in these leagues and in these places that are already doing what you want to do. So it's always best to kind of introduce yourself to them, learn from them, and use those assets to be able to get interviews and speak with other people at companies that you dream of, working for. Because I knew that eventually I was going to be able to meet with people that are at places that I've always dreamed of being able to showcase my skills at. And I think that was the most easiest part when it came down to manifesting and getting this dream job, was networking. I put myself out on LinkedIn and I was able to do a lot of things that I told myself, okay, if I put myself on LinkedIn and do this and do that, I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to, talk to people that are at these said companies. And I think that's really what led me down the route of where I'm at now, because I knew people at the company that I'm working at now, and they knew that I was looking for a new job. And I think that's what really helped me, gain more notoriety and be able to speak with folks that really were like, okay, he is looking for a new job and he really understands what he's doing. Maybe there is an asset that we can grab from him. And then that led to interviews and referrals and so much more. Another thing that I really tried to work on was getting referrals from these said people that I was networking with, because referrals do kind of look better towards the eyes of other people that work at the company, especially HR, especially people that are higher up. And I always told myself that if I can get referrals, then that's the biggest step and the first kind of step into leading into the interviews at these said places. I used to get a little bit frustrated because not in the sense of like referrals don't work, but like sometimes they don't. Unfortunately, you can do all this and that and still kind of talk with people, and they don't really, it really depends on the fruition of what they're trying to do for you, because you can do all these different chats and talk with all these different people and have these referrals and they still don't come to pass. And I think that's what's been the most frustrating part, or what was the most frustrating part when trying to land, the job that I had now. But then I was still trying to land other places and interview at other places and things like that too. But what I always told myself was, if I want to really do this, I need to be able to keep pushing forward, but then at the same time tell people, okay, if I want to work there, I know I can get a referral from you and this and that and the third. For me, when it came down to really understanding how to manifest this thing, I knew that I was going to have to keep continuing to work hard, you know, keep getting those networking opportunities, keep getting referrals, keep talking to people and like going into spaces that I knew I belonged in. But also there was a lot of other behind the scenes stuff that I knew I had to focus on and even, you know, really pray on to really understand, like, is this really meant for me? Because I was going through the motions of thinking that I was a loser. And I mean, we all go through that. We all have those problems and issues where we think, oh, maybe I'm not meant out for this. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. And then there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5s. I think there's a possibility to do both. I think some people, you know, if it can lead down entrepreneurship and you can really understand it, then that's perfect. But there's nothing wrong with having a typical 9 to 5 with good benefits. And I told myself, right now I want to do both. And then eventually down the line, if this is something that can, you know, be a supplement to my full-time income, then that's great, you know, because there are times where, you know, I'm like trying to manifest this and I'm thinking, oh, you know, this space isn't really great for people like me, you know, for Black people like me. And we deal with a lot when it comes down to corporate spaces, but you know, sometimes it's worth it. It's a big learning curve. You get to learn a lot. And I told myself, I want to learn as much as I can at this place. I want to learn as much as I can at the places that I apply to and just hope for the best. And I had to keep that hope alive. I had to keep that positivity alive when trying to manifest this job, because I knew that something great was down the line. And that comes down to another thing that I did was prayed a lot. I journaled a lot. I wrote down like every place that I had like dreams of working at. I made sure that I wrote it down. I prayed about it and really like asked God, okay, if this is the one, then let it be the one. And if it's not, just let it move on by. And I think that's what helped a lot was I kept thinking that certain places was going to be the one for me and they weren't. And I dodged a lot of bullets when it came down to certain places. There's even a place recently that I remember I was interviewing for that I was excited about, and a friend of mine actually started working there, and then within 4 days he got laid off. Like, that could have been me. And that's what makes me realize like there's a lot when it comes down to really trying to, you know, manifest something that is great for you. And I was very nervous when I first started doing that, because I'm like, okay, what if I get something that is supposed to be a lesson? Because I feel like I was tired of getting lessons after lessons after lessons. But I did what I had to do, you know, and really just kept speaking out, saying like, you know, whatever is really meant for me is going to be meant for me, and I'm going to be picky. That's another thing. You have to be picky, because in this day and age, when it comes to finding a job, you don't want to be stuck somewhere that you hate. You don't want to be stuck somewhere that you know you're going to have a bunch of issues at and deal with people that don't like you, because I've dealt with that in the past. I've learned a lot from the different spaces that I've been in, and I told myself I'm not going to be dealing with the same stuff that I dealt with before. And so I was picky about it. I really wrote down in my journal, you know, even on, you know, a single piece of paper, saying, what is it that I want out of a career? What is it that I want out of my next job that I'm going to be working at every day? And lo and behold, that's what I got. And I think that's really important to really understand that you need to be as selective as it comes, so that way you're not in a place where you're suffering. Because you don't want to be suffering going to work every day, sucking your soul and taking out so much time from yourself. And I was working at places that were doing that. So I told myself, you know, from all the lessons that I've learned and from the things that I've experienced, I want to make sure that I manifest something that I know I truly deserve. And I don't mind dodging the bullets. I don't mind saying no. You have to say no a lot of the times to the things that you think are for you, because a lot of the stuff is not going to be for you. Like shit, I thought that, you know, the previous places were for me and they weren't. So I think what's important is that if you really are trying to do what you have to do, you have to work hard towards it, but you do have to speak it out into existence, write it out into existence, make vision boards showing what you really want to do, talk to people about it, talk to the people that you trust about it, and then use all those steps to move forward to get to where you really want to be at. Network, use LinkedIn, revise your resume, do all the stuff that they say, but then at the same time, you really have to be in that thought process of, I do deserve something great. Ooh, not the bug trying to get me. I was at a mindset where I was like, I was low. I was really low. Even like having, those thoughts. And it's sad to think that people do have those thoughts when it comes down to the workforce. But it just really shows you how bad things can get and how bad things are. And we really have to stick out for each other when it comes to being in this said space. And I just really hope that people understand that you have to continue to go and keep moving in order to get to where you want to be at. I never would have thought I'd be at the company that I'm at now. And I mean, this is a prominent, like if I said the name, you would know exactly who this company is. And the company is everything that I asked for. There's diversity, there's great culture. It pertains to entertainment and films that I love. It pertains to things that like I actually can do, things that my previous companies wouldn't let me do. Having freedom to create what I want to create, and I just manifested the fuck out of it. So for those that are still searching for a job right now, I know the market is probably not changed. I was dealing with it for almost 2 years, doing freelance, doing other stuff in between, doing Uber Eats just to try and make it work. And now I'm at a company making more than I have. I'm making almost double what almost triple, close to triple what I never thought I could make. And I'm still learning from, what the experiences are, what it's like to be Black in corporate, what it is that I can do and what I shouldn't be doing, and what I should say, what I shouldn't be saying. And it's a whole process, which can be another video down the line, but this is more along the lines of, if you really want to manifest the job that you think you deserve, you have to work hard towards it, but you also have to keep continuing to move forward. You can't just be stagnant and sit there and think and hope that something is going to come out of nowhere. That's not how it works. That didn't work for me, and I'm pretty sure it didn't work for a plethora of other people. You have to keep working hard. You have to network, show off your skills, go on LinkedIn, talk to people, talk to friends, talk to family. It's a lot of work. I'm sorry to say it, but it's a lot of work. And until that changes, until we can really come as a collective and understand that it needs to change in that way, and that everybody does deserve to, have their dream jobs and work somewhere that they really feel like they're gonna be fulfilled, you're gonna have to put the effort out. Because I did for 2 freaking years. And now I'm somewhere where I know that I'm blessed, and I know that I have so much more opportunity, and that this place is gonna lead me down into more and more great things. So do what you gotta do and keep believing in yourself. Stay positive. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know it's hard. But the more that you really speak it out, the more that you write it down, the more that you work towards it, you will manifest that dream job. You got this.